Who's ready for an adventure?
Good morning. All the food that I had over the last weekend did not agree with me, and last night I found I got pretty sick. So I would say I need to take it easy, but that the easy days are coming to an end, and I need to get my head back in the survival game pretty quickly. So like I said last night, the smoking was poorly planned. It definitely showed some potential, so perhaps I'll have to try that again after a good morning fish. Try smoking throughout the afternoon, because starting at like 8:30 at night is not a good idea unless you want to pull an all-nighter. So good in theory, poor in execution. The fish we just ended up cooking over the fire, cooked them well done so that hopefully they'll last longer, and I should be able to have those for a few days anyways. One point that I wanted to make about having the guys here was it is so nice having the ability to partition labor. So I'm not doing every single thing. I do something, Jared does something, Trevor does something, and overall we get things done a whole lot faster and a whole lot easier. And that's just part of this whole challenge is I have to do everything myself, and it's just been really nice to have a break from that, and really makes you value teamwork and having other people to help out. Getting back in the survival mentality now. Got to wrap my head around going out and getting my food every day. Sleeping in an open shelter. I had a tent the last couple nights, which was heavenly, especially last night because the mosquitoes were pretty bad. So got myself a couple reasonably good sleeps. Not feeling 100% great today, just with the gastric troubles that I had last night. And no, those were not alcohol related, in case you are wondering. That was legitimately due to the food. So yeah, just gotta make sure my head's back in the game soon, just really refocus and get back going. So we're day 26 now. We're a good chunk of the way in, almost halfway there, and I'm feeling pretty good. This was the break that I needed, and I think I was able to recharge, get the socialization that I needed, and now I just need to refocus, move forwards.
My first attempt at firing clay showed some promise, but clearly not enough to impress me.
Trevor and Jer have now taken off, and I was considering striking out today, making for a new camp, but conditions are not appropriate for that. I've been hearing thunder and starting to get a little bit of rain, so up goes the old shelter again, and I'm going to shelter for the day and hopefully get out on the water and relocate tomorrow morning. Get an early start to the day after a restful day today. So I'm basically rebuilding what I had before. I found that was the most effective shelter for my means, and it's just a little bit of a race against the weather here. Just finished the shelter and it's started to come down now. I got that done just in time. My gear is sheltered. I don't see myself taking a trip to the mainland at this point. It's too windy and the weather's too uncertain, not worth the risk. So Roy and I are going to take a little walk in the back 40, so to speak, and then I think we're going to hunker down and rest for a little bit.
Started to rain a little bit now, and I've got some rumblings of thunder not too far off, so I've retreated to my shelter. Still fairly early in the day. It's early to mid-afternoon, and I have my food secured. The fish that I caught yesterday are all left behind, so I'm going to be eating well on fish for the next few days. I don't need to worry about covering the basic necessities. I'm stuck inside, but I want to do something. I'm awake, I'm active, it's midday. You can probably hear it's raining. Inside is a good place to be. It's a good rainy day arts and crafts activity time. So I don't know how well you can hear me. I know the pounding of the rain on the tarp is pretty significant in my ears, but I had a little inspiration for an activity. I saw a mouse running around in the bushes nearby. Now I had seen it a little bit, but I had hardly seen it at all in the first 3.5 weeks that I was here, because the food that I was eating, first of all, I wasn't wasting any, but it was all going into my stomach. And it doesn't smell nearly as nice to a mouse as something like pasta sauce does. So the mouse has been hanging around a little bit lately, and it just got me a little bit of inspiration for some bushcraft to do this afternoon.
Using a heavy, flat-bottomed rock and a straight, thumb-diameter stick, I set about making a figure-4 deadfall trap.
My philosophy on this is that you don't want this stick, the bait stick, so much to hold the bait as you want it to be interpreted as the bait. So I'm roughing it up right now, and it's not going to be that I have food on it. I'm going to mash food right into it, so that rather than the mouse in this case, or whatever the target animal is, rather than it trying to eat the food off of the stick, I want it to try to bite on the stick and pull the stick and carry it away in order to get that food. So here's my bait stick. It's roughed up quite a bit, and just so happen to have a little tiny bit of tomato and pasta sauce that was left over from last night's dinner. So I'm going to rub this against the grain of the roughness to try and really get stuff in there, make it smell like it, make it taste like it. Now peanut butter would be an ideal one for this. If you're in the bush, you use what's available, so probably berries I would imagine, or it really depends what you're going for. Basically whatever your prey is trying to eat. If you can get your hands on some of that, something that smells particularly good. So there we go, that's a saucy stick now. And I'm going to go ahead and set that up. It's a very finicky process. A lot of small adjustments that need to be made in order for it to set properly. The better the fit, the less sensitive the trap. So if it's a real pain to set up, then it'll go off very easily. If it's easy to set up and it holds together without any pressure on it, or with minimal pressure on it, then it will take more to set the trap off. So it's really finding a balance. But this can be a real pain to get set. So I'm just playing around with it here. Stay. Alright, I'm not going to record this because this might take a little while. I will come back to it once it is set. So we have our simulated set here. And there you have it. Finally have my figure 4 deadfall trap baited and set. And as you can see, it is not terribly solidly done, but that will be all for the best in terms of the sensitivity of the trap. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to leave that set and see if a mouse will come along and nibble on my bait stick, which has been thoroughly smeared with pasta sauce. Anyways, in theory that is the figure 4 deadfall trap. This is an effective trap. It does work. However, it's not legal everywhere for everything, so unless you're in a survival situation, make sure you check your local laws and regulations and make sure that this is fine for you to do. Also important to note, I haven't set this up just in a random location hoping to draw the mouse in. This is somewhere where I have seen the mouse. It comes in and out of these holes here, and it's been running around in this area. So I've seen it in this area. I know it does come around here. Don't try to lure the animal somewhere it doesn't want to be. Go where it already wants to be and set your trap there. One thing about mice is that they like to follow edges. So I'm going to try and adjust their roots so that they're going where I want them to go. I just saw one come out here, go up over top. I'd rather have it come out and go down through. Along here. Not entirely sure where they come up. I would guess probably along this edge here. So, try to direct them down underneath here. So if they're coming under here, hopefully they'll follow that edge, investigate here. If they're coming out here, come this way. Anyways, I'm just going to do some funneling and try and get them to go where I want them to go. Tomorrow morning I plan on breaking camp and heading off early, getting an early start to the day while the wind is not too high and my energy levels are still high. Do a good push and see if I can get to my location before the afternoon. After that I'll set up, assess my situation there. I'm bringing food with me, so it shouldn't be too bad, but you never know what you're going to find when you get there. So here we go, off for our evening walk. As I've said, I'm pretty high energy right now. I have no reason not to be, really. But just because I'm feeling good now does not mean that I'm going to waste my energy. I'm going to take what I've learned and apply that. I know that my energy will go quickly enough. So I'm going to use it conservatively, sparingly, and basically act as though I'm not as high energy as I am now, so I don't burn any unnecessary calories. Keep those saved for later when I really need them. Man, let me tell you, I have never had such bad heartburn. Just going from a basic diet of fish, roots, and shoots to sausages and pasta and meatballs, maybe a little whiskey and wine thrown in there. It's just oh, good Lord. Burning up inside. I just had some of the pike from yesterday. Whoa. Alright, so we have some wind, so I do need to dip into those energy stores here. But I just had some of the pike from yesterday. And it's kind of nice to be back to a basic diet. Just keeping things simple like I have been. Even that's, I'm feeling it right now, but it's not so bad as what I had earlier. A little mushroom here. It's an odd looking fella. I don't know what to think of that. Well, as per usual, I will identify it, bring it on home with me. I see a snack. Yeah, a missed opportunity. Big old dock spider. Let's see if I can find it. Nope. Hold on. Alright, I'm gonna go harvest some cattail shoots. Get myself some greens to settle my stomach. Just doing a quick little harvest of cattails here. Some of these are coming up with the rhizome still attached. To those I say, don't mind if I do. Apparently I'm doing a little swivel here. The wind has decided. This one's going to come up whole, and that's got a nice fresh rhizome shoot on it, and that is going to be delicious. Those are one of my favorites. Fresh rhizomes, still white and crisp. I'm going to cook that over the fire. So good. You just can't get that at the grocery store. The deadfall trap has been sprung. See if we caught anything. Nothing. So either the wind knocked it over, or else it just fell over on its own, or else maybe it got something but a mouse was able to wriggle out. They are able to compress themselves pretty well. So I'm going to set that up and try again. Just got the mushrooms book out and took a look at this interesting character. There are two possibilities. One is known as yellow patches, and I think that's what this is. It did not specify whether or not it was edible, because the other one easily confused with Frost's Amanita, and that is poisonous. So I think it's the former, but I am not going to take any chances with that. So this is going to go in the lake, and I'm going to go wash my hands. This is the sweet fern that I gathered on Friday, and I had been leaving it to dry. Unfortunately we got dumped on with rain there, so that's kind of gone to waste, but it still will make a good tea. So I'm just making it with wet plant matter, and that just means I need to use more of it to get the same flavor. So sweet fern is one that I've done a fair bit. I collected a good bit of it on my walk there. So we're going to toss this in here, give it some time to steep, and see how that tastes. While I was waiting for my tea to steep, just did a little bit of prep work, organizing things for tomorrow's departure. My wood I've left here. If the next people who show up feel the need to burn it, so be it. I can always gather more. However, my tripod and quote-unquote food storage container, I've tried to stash away and hide back in here. Camouflage a little, a little bit. There's my container. The uncompleted food storage container is just storing birch bark, which is always nice to have a good dry supply. Anyways, I'd be hopeful that whoever was here next, if someone is here before I return, I'd be hopeful that they would respect my the things that I've left behind. But I know that that is not always the case, so that's why I've tried to camouflage it a little bit. But like I said, my wood, they are welcome to burn, so I've made no effort to hide that. Anyways, the tea should be just about ready now, so let's give it a try. So here we have sweet fern tea. It's been steeping for about 15 minutes, and it has a rather dark green color to it. And a nice pleasant taste. It's like your standard green tea. And this tastes quite good. This is something that I would have any day of the week. In fact, when I leave, I plan on bringing a whole bunch of it with me, drying it, and using it throughout the fall and winter if possible. It's quite good, as I said. And this was made with wet plants because the stuff that I was drying has been exposed to the rain. So it's not quite as flavorful as it would be with dry plant material. I'm going to bring the stuff that I gathered with me, and hopefully I'll have a chance to let it dry out once the weather is a little drier. It's fairly good right now. I don't see rain on the horizon. It's a little bit humid though, starting to cool off, and I really hope the temperature plummets, to be perfectly honest, because if it stays warm and humid and still as it is right now, the mosquitoes are going to be insufferable in about half an hour. Sun's just going down now, and after spending the last couple nights in a tent, I am really hoping for a night of reasonable mosquitoes, but to be honest, I'm not expecting it. So I'm getting this tea in me now, getting a little bit of bass fillet in me, plenty of that to go around. So I'm going to be eating quite a bit of fish in the next little while, and just hoping I can get through it before it starts to go bad. And the fillets don't taste as good well done, but they probably taste better than they would if they were raw. And that's the important thing. I'm about ready to break camp, move on, see some different things. This site has served me quite well. This lake has served me quite well, and I'm ready to get to know another part of the land. I've got, if I can make it all the way to my intended lake, I've got a couple portages to do. So a couple portages. The biggest paddle will be on this lake, and then a couple small paddles. They're two smaller lakes that I need to cross to get to my next destination. So big day tomorrow. Gonna hopefully get a good night's sleep.
But again, I'm a little worried with the insects. I'll do what I can. If necessary, I might start the pack up quite early and break camp and be out of here around dawn. But lay it by ear. Basically, we're back to how things were. I need to just take conditions as they come and make the most of it. So, I'm making the most of my tea and my fish right now. I'm just going to relax, have a good evening, and things are going well so far. I'm happy, my spirits are high, and that visit from Trevor and Jer was just what I needed to get the socialization, not going to lie, get some extra calories and nutrients into me that I've been lacking. Seriously lacking in sodium and electrolytes. I haven't had the issue with a head rush when I stand up that I was having the entire time. So I'm pretty sure it was a case of low blood volume as a result of low, what's the word I'm looking for here? Electrolytes, because they are lacking in the diet. So, happy with how things are now. Moving forwards, new adventures tomorrow. Well, here we are, back to the old fight. The mosquitoes at dusk. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. I don't know if you can see them at all, but they're here. Believe me, they are here. Let's see if I can shine some light on the situation here. Where's the best lighting for this? There we go, that's nice. That's nice. Not really, but there they are. And it's a still night, and it's warm, and it's humid, and I don't think they're gonna go away at all. We're doing a blood drive tonight. Support the local mosquito blood drive. Come on out and donate generously. Every night up here in Northern Ontario. The mosquitoes have driven me to new lengths. I am now out here in the middle of the lake because they were quite literally as thick as I think I may have ever seen mosquitoes in my entire life. The island is still, completely still, like no breeze at all. It is warm, it is humid, and it is insufferable. So I've fled to my canoe to try and find a breeze somewhere. Fortunately, this is happening on a night when I have energy and I am able to do such things. So I've traveled south, I found a bit of a breeze, and basically the mosquitoes that followed me are hanging out in the lee of the wind behind me. There's nothing in my face right now. I can feel some crawling on the back of my neck and up my pant legs, but this is so much better out here. It's definitely worth it. So it is clear that going to bed in the traditional sense is just not an option tonight. Insects are really, the mosquitoes are really thick. Still like as bad as I've ever seen. And yeah, they're just really bad. The only way to cope with them is to get in the wind. So I'm dressed warm and I'm dressed waterproof. I'm gonna go lay down on the rocks and see if I can get some sleep using my rope bag as a pillow. Fortunately, I'm not too tired right now, and I'm well fed, so I am able to cope reasonably well. Yeah, it's gonna be quite a night and quite the day tomorrow. So we'll see how she goes. Hopefully I can get some shut-eye. On a positive note, I saw the Northern Lights tonight. That was pretty neat. They were far off and they were fairly faint, but still, always cool to see them.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to harness the wind. Have my face, my breathing hole is the only exposed area to the wind. It's 1 o'clock, so we got, I don't know, 3.5 hours till we start seeing light. 3 hours maybe? I'm not sure. We'll find out, I guess. Because I don't see myself sleeping in for some reason. So yeah, I'll get as much sleep as I can. Probably get a little bit. This is my best bet at this point. And after that, I'm going to start packing up right away. I've started reconsidering the wisdom of my plan. My plan was head north, couple lakes, go to the spot that I know of. It's a smaller lake, and I don't see it being very windy, and unless we get a change in the weather, if I can't get some wind, it's going to be just awful. The lake south of here is a lot larger and a lot windier, so I might change my plans up and go south instead of north. But I'm going to sleep on that, or try to anyways. Hello. No sleep so far. So I moved back up top again because I was feeling pretty cold and wet down by the water. Just going to try the old hide in the sleeping bag technique because they are really bad up here. But I need to try something different and I need to get some sleep. I'm also realizing like this is a voluntary can't move. I'm not going to do it on no sleep, and I'm not going to do a location that's going to be as bad or worse than this. So yeah, I'm gonna need to do some rethinking here and focusing on the needs. I need to get some sleep. So if that means that I sleep during the day and then reassess, then that's just what's gonna happen.